Hello and welcome to day 16 of my 30-day 3D modeling challenge. No, it's day 17. I keep getting the days wrong, but uh, my ADHD is very much not number compatible. It switches up numbers all over the fucking place. Sorry about all the Discord sound. I don't know how to turn that off. Except, of course, turning it off via the control panel. But then I have to turn it on again next time I use Discord, because otherwise I won't hear the person I'm talking to. So today I rolled a lion. A fucking lion. And I knew this was gonna be one of the more challenging ones. But I didn't let that stop me from doing it. And so I did. You know what? I'm actually gonna turn off the Discord sound because this is distracting me. My friends are playing Baldur's Gate and they can't be arsed to use the fucking voice chat. They have to write with each other on texts all the time. Anyway, why is my microphone volume so weak? Never mind, I'll just turn it on later. Turn it up later. I'm quite tired. I've been working. Yesterday I had a very long dishwashing shift. I worked from 1 to 11:30, start to finish. And afterwards, the cooks invited me to go out and have a drink with them. It was fun. We had a really good time. But I'm very tired today. Totally worth it. So yeah, here at first I'm like, am I making a horse or am I making a lion? But I'm just blocking out the basic shape of the lion. It's all about just figuring out the main, like, bigger shapes of the mesh or character or creature you're making. This could have been a dog, actually, but yeah. So my I don't know how common this is, but my ADHD really does fuck me up in a lot of ways because of the fact that it switches numbers around. It's not the number equivalent of dyslexia, dyscalculia or something like that. I don't know, but it's not that. I can read numbers and calculate stuff pretty easy, but for some reason when I try to remember a number or of a time or anything, a date, or an hour or whatever, based off my memory, I can be 99% sure. No, I can be 100% sure that I am remembering correctly. But from the time that I look at the number, like, okay, here I wrote down 12:15, and if I try to remember it 1 hour later, that memory will be replaced with a slightly different combination of those numbers, or an averaged out version. Like 12:15 can easily become 15:12 or 12:51 or 13 15 or 1350. Like it's yeah, I'm not good with numbers. My memory does not. It's very selective in that way. I have a pretty good memory. I'd say I'd have a pretty normal memory, but numbers, my brain is just like, nah. We don't need to keep that. We don't need to keep that shit. We don't need to keep track of that. Yeah, it's this day and age where we have to quantify everything, where everything has to be like on hours, because some smartass decided to come up to invent time. Yeah, keeping up with appointments, and like if I don't write stuff down, that will either that will happen, or I just will not turn up, and then I will get a phone call with someone asking, "Hey, where are you?" Oh, it's really hot today. Today I think is the hottest day in all summer so far here in Sweden. I have my window and my balcony door open so that I can have some cross breeze. But there's hardly any wind, so it's not doing much. I used to have a fan, but I don't know where it is. This whole I took my I took my I like to think that I took my time meshing out the model of the lion, but I think I still like. Yeah, I took the whole modeling process took 70, 77 minutes and 45 seconds to make. So considering how detailed, it's not even that detailed. It's pretty low poly still, and I didn't want to make this real hyper realistic high poly shape. Um, I think it like still came out quite decent. The the face of a lion is very special. It has a very special shape because you would think that it the uh, is it the snout, the frontal part of the face. You'd think that it's kind of like oval in a like on a dog or a cat, but it's actually quite flat. It's actually surprisingly concave in a way. Uh, here when I corrected it, I compared it another again once when I completed the mesh. I compared it with the reference, and the reference was actually even more concave. So this is still this lion's face is still jutting out a little bit too much. So, but yeah, you know what? It's a style choice. It's a stylized lion. Let's call everything stylized so that you can get away with making a not being able to achieve the realism that you want. The paws were kind of took a while before they stopped looking like horse hooves. I think the reference that I was following was of a very slender, surprisingly slender line because I don't know. It looks now that I'm looking at it, now that I'm watching the video playback, it looks quite thin. Honestly, uh, I don't know. Maybe lions are supposed to be thin. I don't know. wild animals are rarely well fed. I think, you know, the law of the jungle, it's always it seems to be such a struggle for them, especially today when the environment is being all fucked up by humans to build casinos so that tourists can come there and consume. We love that shit. We love consuming. But one thing is, like, for sure, some people should consume less than others. I'd say there's one, like, consuming because you want to enjoy life and abusing it are two entirely different things. And some people have a tendency to hoard all of the goodness of the world and keep it for themselves and destroy whoever shines a light on it. Why am I getting into this weird fucking philosophical life rant? I just made a fucking lion and my brain just took us here. Yesterday we talked about when I was out with the cooks. Have a drink. We got into Disney movies. Like, yeah, what's the best classical Disney movie? I said I couldn't pick between Hercules, Aladdin, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I regret saying that because later during that evening we got into the topic of Treasure Island. And that's when I remembered. Yeah, no, Treasure Island is not Treasure Island. Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet for me is like, yeah, I think that's where Disney peaked for me. Coco was also another peak, but it's not the same when it's 3D. It's like the Treasure Planet was when traditional animation, Disney animation, peaked. Many people say the Princess and the Frog was where it was at, but I don't know. The weirder non-Disney princess movies were always the ones that did it the most for me. I never watched any of the live action remakes. As soon as they like come out on theaters, it doesn't take long until my feed gets filled with people ranting over how fucking horrible it is and how badly it was made. Why do they keep doing that? I mean, sure, I guess it's because people watch them. And if enough people watch it, then it doesn't really matter if the product is good or bad. It's already been consumed. It's already reached too many eyes. It's already made the paycheck. There's no going back. You can't unwatch it. But yeah, I miss traditional animation. And fuck you for saying that. No, it's nostalgia. 3D is better. No, it's not. It's not like neither 2D or 3D is better than the other. There are just two different forms of art. You can compare them as in like on individual works, like compare why one movie is good and why one movie is bad, but I wouldn't say that one movie being in 3D makes it automatically gives it more points. I would just sooner rate it by the storytelling, the music, the fidelity of, like, if I can tell that those who created it actually made it with, like, I think it's easier for me when I can tell that it was like a labor of love. The people involved in making the work really, really believed in it, and really wanted to make it. That's the big paradox, isn't it? Making art for the sake of making art, or making art to make a shareholder happy, to get those fucking money bags home. I'm probably gonna take a nap after this. I'm fuck working on making this line was took a toll out of me. But it couldn't have been a better day to do the lion because I don't have anything else to do today. Don't have any plans. It's Sunday. So I could work on this without feeling any pressure. I'm only pressured by the fact by my own energy limit. That would be the only pressure. So yeah, the lines taking shape. I wanted to. I thought about like making it, giving the line a bit of a subdivision modifier, but since I had already, I figured that since I had already done the seam cutting for the UV, and it already looked okay for being, despite being so low poly. I, I thought, like, you know what, I don't think it will matter that much. I don't think it'll make that big of a difference to give it more give it more geometry. Making the material was a whole different challenge in itself. I'd say that making the material look good or passable. That's what we're always going for here. Passable. It works. Uh, proved to be much harder than shaping out a lion with meshes and polygons. uh, you will see once I'm done unwrapping this. It was pretty simple to unwrap it. That was mainly the reason why I wanted to keep it low poly so that I could unwrap it quickly. I had to look up how many fingers a lion's paw actually has, and it is actually four, um, which is cool. Yeah, here I try the subdivision modifier, but I'm like, you know what? No, nah, not today, not today. So there you go. The mesh is done and ready to be painted. Yeah, so there's a bit of a trial and error here at the beginning. I'm not entirely, like, I have never made anything like this. I have made organic shapes and stuff like that before, but I really wanted to experiment how well I could paint a layer of fur. Uh, First, I try to just make it yeah, make it like a cheaty generated um, height map, but it didn't really look very good. Uh, Try a little bit different flow, but nah. I'm like, does it even look good anywhere? I am quite happy with how how good the proportions are. I think I nailed that part. Yeah, so now I just cave in and just try to do. Yeah, so my method here was to make like take out the different pigments, the different hues on from the reference picture that I'm using, and just make put arrange them all in different layers with slightly varying heights, and then just brush as good as I can with a very low flow, and it turned out to look a lot better than the generated height map. It was like, but it was hard to, yeah, it was hard to find a good, a reasonable way to go about it. See here, I'm just like cluttering on it. It doesn't look very good at first. And so here, this is like still the try me. This is still me experimenting because I think I'm gonna remove this, in a short bit. Um, there was a fire here. Well, not here, but in the town where I live, there was a forest fire apparently on the other side of town, right by a lake. But they seem to have controlled it now. Hope nobody got hurt. uh, Apparently, it was a pretty big fire. Yeah, so here I'm actually like segmenting. At first, just using a polygon fill to segment the parts of the line that have the most of a certain hue and a certain tone, and then I start like brushing out and softening the intersections. I promise you, it will look better than this. It will like, it won't look this horrible for long. I hope. Thank God for the mirror modifier. It's just unwrapping a mesh before applying the mirror modifier is, it not only saves UV space, but it also when it's a symmetrical mesh like this that's not supposed to have different details on either side, then it saves you a lot of time to just do it like that. Here I'm trying to figure out the placement of the eyes. Yeah, that's better. All right, yeah. Here I switched to my drawing pad tablet because yeah, it was getting too tiring to just use the mouse for this. I don't generally use the drawing pad that often on Substance Painter, not nearly as much as I may perhaps should, but it's quite a hassle because I haven't figured out a way to do the camera spinning on just the drawing pad. It's I always have to like hold my hand on the Alt, Control, and Shift yeah, buttons while drawing on the other hand. And I don't have a lot of space on my desk for that. So what I do is when I switch to my drawing pad, I switch places. I switch them, so I have the drawing pad closest to me and the keyboard behind the drawing pad with my hand on ready on the Control Alt. Yeah, so it's not very practical. Maybe one day I'll have space, a desk that is spacious enough for to do something like this. Yeah, so here I'm just smoothing out the sharp edges. The material took less than an hour to make, even though it was quite hard because I was, yeah, you can, as you can probably guess, I was getting quite tired because I was already tired when I started making this. Um, so it took 52 minutes and 17 seconds to make just the material. So all in all, the entire process from start to finish adds up to about yeah, I'd say maybe about 2 hours or so, around 2 hours. That sound was me trying to figure out how to plus 77 with 52, but my brain is like, no, 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 we're not doing that today. We're not doing any head calculations. Let's not make a fool of ourselves. Oh, yeah, the main was kind of difficult to make because it had all this. The reference image has had all sorts of different colors. It was very spotty in a very natural way, but I couldn't get it. The moment I tried to make it like spotty, it just ended up looking dirty. But yeah, it's starting to actually look kind of decent. I should have worked on the face more though. The face looks still looks kind of weird, but I'm like, well, it's passable. It's not. It doesn't look horrifying. Um, but right now, when I look at this, I'm like, yeah, face could have used a little bit more love. But this, I was my main focus was just figuring out the the furriness of it. I'm attempting so many things. I think the roughness on one of the layers is off, but I don't care. it looks it looks like a lion. This could easily pass as like a lion at on an RTS game or something like that. Because it doesn't look have to be overly detailed. Yeah, little paws, little paws, little beans. I'm trying really hard to not yawn too loud because I'm yawning all the time. I really need to take a nap after this. Yeah, here I'm really starting to like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not worth. Let's not keep beating this horse to death. I think it's you gotta know when to quit when it's like fine enough because at a certain point you just tend to overwork the mesh or the material to its own detriment. But yeah, there we go. A lion. A very cursed one, but it's a lion nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.